All right, the state can call its next witness.
Judge, at this time, the state would call Shanna Miller.
Swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
All right, the witness has been sworn. I'll just have a few questions before we begin with the examination. This trial, Ms. Miller, has been live streamed and publicly available for viewing. Have you observed or watched any of the trial testimony that's taken place?
No, I have not, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. Have you discussed with anyone else their testimony they've given in the trial?
No, I have not.
All right, thank you for that affirmation. Mr. Wixom, you may proceed with direct.
Thank you. Good morning, ma'am. Will you please state your full name for the record?
Shanna Miller,
Will you spell it, please?
SHANNAMILLER,
And where do you live?
St. Anthony, Idaho.
And what do you do for work?
I have been retired for the last year and a half, but previous to that, I was a school teacher for 34 years,
What school did you teach at?
Central Elementary in Sugar City.
During your time teaching at Central Elementary, do you recall working with Tammy Daybell?
Yes, I do.
And did you become aware back in October of 2019 that she'd passed?
Yes.
Could you explain to the jury how often and in what way did you interact with Tammy at your work?
I was actually on the committee that interviewed Tammy for a job position at our school back in the spring of, I believe it was 2017. She was hired to be our computer specialist and our librarian. She also helped out with the lunch count, checking the kids in as they went to lunch. So I was her colleague after we hired her. I also attended a high fitness class in St. Anthony with her and her daughter twice a week.
And what was that high fitness class?
It's called High Fit. It's a high intensity workout that lasts an hour. It consists of burpees, jumping jacks, lunges, squats, planks, all set to music.
And how often did you attend that class?
At the time, I was attending twice a week.
Do you recall how often at the time, prior to her death, Tammy was attending the class?
Yes, she and her daughter started attending, I believe it was the spring of 2018, and they attended up until her death in October of 2019.
Were they regular attenders?
Yes.
When they came to class, did you have opportunity to interact with Tammy or observe how she was doing?
Yes, I was on the back row, so all I needed to do was look over. Yeah, I had opportunity to observe them.
Would you feel like you had a good vantage point typically?
Yes.
What observations, if any, did you make about Tammy's performance in that class?
Well, it is a very rigorous exercise that's highly aerobic. And at first it's hard for anyone that's not in great shape to be able to have the stamina and the strength to be able to complete it. And at first they weren't able to complete all of the exercises are set to, songs. So they weren't maybe able to do all of the exercises completely correct or finish them, accordingly at first. But as time went on, I would say after the first, I don't know, several weeks, maybe a couple months, they were able to complete the workout.
With respect to, let's narrow it down to the last few months prior to Tammy's death.
Okay.
Were there ever times that you saw Tammy lag behind?
No,
Did she ever stop or take breaks?
no,
Any indication to you that she wasn't keeping up in the class?
no,
Are you confident that based upon your interaction with her at the class and what you could see, that you would have observed that had she fallen back?
no.
You're not confident or?
Oh, sorry. Can you rephrase that question?
Sure.
That's a long one.
Any reason for you to think that you weren't able to have a good observation of Tammy and assess how she was doing?
Yes, I was able to, yes, I would be able to be confident and to say that, yes, I did.
And what about with work? I didn't ask. How often did you interact with Tammy at work?
I would see her probably, I would say every day, sometimes several times a day. Uh, and when I took my kids to library, that was once a week. Computer lab was once a week, maybe twice a week. Can't remember for sure. And then every day as I took my kids into the lunchroom, she'd check the kids off as they came through the lunch line. I would see her then.
Based on observations at work, do you feel like you were able to make any observations about her health or fitness from what you saw at work?
I would say from the time that she started the fitness class, her confidence level in herself, I think her overall image of herself, I think it had improved. She looked like she was in great health and in great shape to me.
And in terms of observing her doing her daily duties at work, did you ever see her get tired or worn out?
No,
What was your reaction when you first learned of Tammy's death?
complete shock
Why is that?
because hours before that, I had seen her at work and she was happy, healthy, conversing with the kids as they, guess the last time I would have seen her would have been, when the kids were going through the lunch line, she was conversing with them, complimenting them, smiling. She seemed perfectly healthy to me.
Thank you. Your Honor, I have no further questions at this time.
All right, thank you, Mr. Wixom. Cross-examination.
Good morning, Ms. Miller.
Good morning.
So your testimony is that you first started with the interview process of Tammy in the spring of 2017. Is that right?
Mhm.
That means that she would have started her first year in the fall to start as her job as a librarian. Would that be fair?
Of 2017?
Of fall of 2017.
Yes, I
So-
believe that is correct.
Okay. You're not sure though. It could be 2018.
Well, if I did the math correctly, she had worked there she was in her second year of teaching. The second year would have been 2019 to 2020. So that would have been 2018 to 2019, the year that she started working. Yeah,
So 2018, right?
yes, it was
Yeah.
2000.
So when you say 2017, you really didn't know Tammy until the spring when you met her of 2018, correct?
I would have to do the math on that.
Okay.
Still not convinced.
Well, you know, she was in her second year of teaching at the school when she passed, right?
Mhm.
And in the first year of school, that's sort of a probationary period, right?
Yes. Mhm.
And in that probationary period is when they give you the basic benefits, the start benefits that you have to go through as part of your probation, things like life insurance and medical care and all of that. You're given that minimum plan. And then after the first year, that's when you choose to upgrade to add the additional life insurance and death benefits and all that other stuff, right?
Objection, Your Honor. This is outside the scope.
Overruled.
That's when that second year is when you start adding and increasing all of those additional benefits because you've put a year in as your probationary period, right? Ma'am?
I don't know.
Okay,
I
well,
can't
you
answer
work
that.
there.
Yes, I did for 34 years. It was a long time ago
Okay,
when I
so.
first
30
started working there.
So you're
But
not.
I didn't up my death benefit my second year.
Okay. You do, I'm sorry, you what?
I did not up my death benefit the second year that I
Okay.
taught.
But that's not an uncommon thing to up your death benefit in the second year after you get that eligibility, right?
I couldn't answer that.
Right. And you said 2017, but really it was 2018 when you first met her in the spring, wasn't it?
I don't know.
Okay. And these, we had a previous witness who talked about these high intensity classes. And you're telling me that these high intensity classes started when?
They started attending, when they started attending or when they started.
When they started?
The instructor has been teaching those high intensity classes for the last at least 6 years, and she was teaching Zumba before that.
Okay. So your testimony is that you met Tammy in the spring of 2018. And ironically enough, that was exactly the time she started these high intensity dance classes at the same time, right? And that's how you became such fast friends, right?
No, I became friends before that at school.
Okay. With Tammy at school?
Mhm.
She wasn't working there.
Well, shortly after she started working there, obviously we became friends.
Okay, and that was, she started working there in the fall of 2018 as the full-time librarian, didn't she?
Yes,
Okay. So isn't it true, ma'am, that the high intensity classes started in September of 2019?
that they started in 2019? No, no, she had been attending for at least 9 months prior to that.
Okay,
Actually, it was more like a year and a half because she had started, I remember she'd started in the spring because her and her daughter had expressed that they wanted to get in shape for a 5K. And
okay,
so some of my coworkers said, well, you should come to High Fit and
okay,
that will help you get in shape. And that would have been in the spring. So she did it that spring and then that fall, then the following spring.
okay. So in the spring of 2008, when you first met her, uh, basically what happened in the very first spring when you were interviewing her, she signs up for High Fitness. She decides she's going to do a 5K. She's going to do all of these
No,
things. as-
no,
Ma'am,
we
let me
hired
finish
her.
My question,
Well,
please.
Mr. Pryor, problem is it's argumentative, so just ask a question, please.
I didn't hear an objection from the prosecutor, Judge.
I know, but in fairness, it's in the long line of argument that she started responding. So just please go with questioning on cross.
And you would agree with me that Emma was there for all of the times that Tammy was involved in that class. Would that be fair?
I believe so.
Okay, so Emma was standing next to her the entire time, right?
They worked out next to each other.
Okay. And did you watch Tammy the entire time that you participated in these high intensity exercises?
Off and on. I mean, you're always looking around, seeing, what everybody else is doing, if they're following the instructor.
And how many participants were in these high intensity exercise classes?
Uh, It would depend. There could be as few as 15, as many as upwards of 24 to 30, depending on the night.
Do you know Kelsey Harris?
Yes,
Okay, friend of yours?
no. Well, coworker, colleague,
Okay, you don't go to any classes with her, right?
no.
Okay. So how would you evaluate, if you were to make a determination, would you say that Tammy Daybell was very fit?
Yes,
So she had a low body fat, she had a petite figure, is that what you're telling me?
you don't have to have a low body fat or a petite figure to be highly fit, but what I observed is that she had the stamina from the time she started to the fall that she passed. She had the stamina to be able to complete those rigorous
Okay,
workouts.
okay. Judge, I have nothing else. Thank you.
Redirect, Mr. Wixom.
No, Your Honor, we would excuse the witness.
All right, that concludes your testimony. Thank you very much for appearing today. Release from any subpoena.